Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Welcome to the second session in this Weekend with Wisdom series. We are talking and discussing about the topic Vibheeshana Gita and Enunciation on the Chariot of Dharma. We have with us Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati ji. Once again, thank you so much, Swami ji, for joining us. I would like to begin with a short prayer. Samastajana Kalyani Niratham Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. I would like to give a brief introduction about Swamiji. Swami Nikhilananda Saraswati ji is a master of Advaita Vedanta and the disciple of Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda ji and Swami Paramananda Bharati ji. He was born in Mumbai and grew up strongly influenced by the lives and teachings of many saints. It was while studying for a master's degree in geology that he developed an interest in studying the scriptures. After completing the traditional course in Vedanta at Sandipni Sadhanalaya, Mumbai, he served in Chinmaya Mission, teaching this ancient wisdom in various centers of the mission in India and abroad for 33 years. Since July 2019, he is working independently, not associated with any organization, from New Delhi, guiding seekers in their spiritual pursuits. People like his satsangs because he demystifies this knowledge and presents it in a very simple and rational manner. All those who interact with him, be they students, householders, professionals, or corporate leaders, are attracted to his subtlety of thought and his vast experience in sharing this ancient wisdom. A true teacher, he is always available to any questions put to him from any age group or background. Swamiji has been a regular participant at interfaith panel discussions in and outside Delhi and abroad. We are very happy to have you, Swamiji. With that short introduction, I invite you to take over. Thank you.
Hari Om. We'll begin with a prayer. Sanghanam Rasanam Chandasamapir Mangalanam Chakartaro Vande Vani Vinayakau Bhavani Shankarau Vande Shraddha Vishwasarupinam Yabhyam Vinana Pashyanti Siddha Svantastamishwaram Vande Bodhamayam Nityam Gurum Shankara Rupinam Yamashrito Hivakropi Chandras Sarvatra Vandyate Sitaram Gunagrama Punyaranya Viharinam Vande Vishuddha Vijnanam Kavishwara Kapishwaro Udbhava Sthiti Samhara Karini Klesha Harini Sarva Shreyaskarim Sitam Natoham Rama Vallabham Yanmaya Vashavarti Vishwam Akhilam Brahmadi Deva Suraha Yasatvadam Risheva Bhati Sakalam Rajjo Yathahir Brahmaha Yadpada Plavamekame Vahibhavam Bodhe Sthite Shavatam Vandeham Tamashesha Karana Param Ramakyamisham Harim Nana Purana Nigamagama Sammatam Yata Ramayane nigaditam kvachidanyatopi Swantasubhaya tulasi raghunatha gatha Bhasha nibandhamati manjulamatanoti Bhasha nibandhamati manjulamatanoti Neelambujasyamalapomalaangam Sita samaropitavamabhagam Pano mahasayakacharuchapam Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham Namami Ramam Raghuvanshanatham Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram 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 Jaya Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram Bole Sri Ramachandra Bhagwan ki Jai. Hari Om, Hari Om. We are seeing this beautiful Vibheeshana Gita in the morning session. We briefly saw the definition of dharma and the two types of dharma, Vishesh dharma and Samanya dharma, and the importance of dharma in our life, not only in the life of an individual, but it's very important for the society. The society can be sustained only through dharma. Otherwise, the whole thing will collapse. So whenever there is a problem with dharma, some weakness, then Bhagavan himself takes avatar and sets it right. So Bhagavan has taken many avatars before. So in Treta Yuga also, Bhagavan took avatar as Sri Ram. During that time also, the whole society had become very chaotic. The adharma had increased. Great adharmic, mighty adharmic people like Ravana, Kumbhakarna, etc. had created a lot of havoc in the whole world. During that time, Bhagavan manifested as Sri Ram, as Bharat, as Shatrugna, Lakshmana, along with his Shakti. In Valmiki Ramayana, Valmiki ji briefly describes the charitra of Bhagavan Sri Ram in 24,000 verses. Here in Tulsi Ramayana, Tulsidas ji also describes the glories of Sri Ram in Avadhi Bhasha. According to Tulsidas ji, the the Ramayana was first written by Bhagavan Shivji himself. Rachi Mahesh Nijamanasa Rakha. Lord Shiva wrote this Ramayana and kept it in his mind. And at appropriate time, he taught it to Parvati ji. And through him only, all the Rishi Munis also, they got this Ramayana. And slowly, through the Guru Shishya Parampara, Tulsidas ji also could hear this Ramayana from his own teacher. So though there are many different Ramayans, lot of devotees have written Ramayana in different languages. So we have Valmiki Ramayana, we have Adhyatma Ramayana. Then in various regional languages also we have many Ramayans. In Marathi we have Bhavartha Ramayana. So one of the most famous Ramayana in vernacular language is this Tulsi Ramayana. Tulsidas ji names it as Sri Ramacharitamanas. So in this Sri Ramacharitamanas, it is depicted as a lake, Manas Sarovar. And all these Kanda are indicated as a sopan, as steps. So here the main Vakta is Lord Shiva, and the main Shrota is Parvati ji. But simultaneously, there is a dialogue happening between Yajnavalkya Rishi and Bharadwaj Rishi, also between Kakabhushundi and Garud. And Tulsidas ji himself, he speaks to his own mind and to all of us. So simultaneously, there are 4 dialogues happening, and those are described in this Sri Ramacharitamanas. So Shivji and Parvati ji speaks about this Ramayana. Shivji tells the story of Ramayana to Parvati ji, and it is mainly he speaks from the Jnana standpoint. Yajnavalkya speaks to Bharadwaj ji from karma or dharma standpoint. Kakabhushundi ji speaks to Garud ji from Upasana standpoint. And Tulsidas ji speaks to his own mind and to all of us from Sharanagati standpoint. So all these different standpoints are there, which are indicated as different ghat. So the whole Manas Sarovar like a lake, and through these various ghats we can approach this lake and benefit from this beautiful Ramayana. So here, this apart from this Vibhishan Gita, there are various other Gitas also in Ramayana, like Lakshman Gita and Sri Rama Gita, etc. So here in this Lanka Kanda, we have this Vibhishan Gita. So Ramchandra ji had gone to the forest along with Sita ji and Lakshmana, obeying the command of his father. And you know the story. So Sita ji was kidnapped by Ravana, and Bhagavan, he went in search of Sita ji. Later on took help of Sugriva and his army, met Hanuman ji also. So Hanumanji goes in search of Sita ji along with other Vanaras and reaches Lanka, meets Sita ji, meets Ravan. Before that meets Vibhishan ji also, and tries to teach Ravan the proper dharma, the proper way of living. He told him that what you have done is not proper, so you should return Sita ji with proper respect to Ravan and to Ramchandra ji, and surrender to him and ask for forgiveness, and he will forgive you, and you can rule your kingdom for a long time without any problem. But if you don't listen to me and my advice, then it will be very harmful for you. You will not only destroy yourself, but your whole family and the whole kingdom will get destroyed. But Ravan doesn't listen to his advice. Even Mandodari tries to advise Ravan, but he is not willing to listen. So when Hanumanji returns back to Sri Ram and informs him about Sita ji, so Ramchandra ji, along with the huge Vanara army, then marches towards Lanka. They reach the ocean. Near the ocean, they built a Setu also, Rama Setu, and they cross this Setu. The entire army crosses this Setu and reaches Lanka. Even as a final try to avoid this war, Bhagavan sends Angad to Ravan, conveying his message to him that return Sita ji properly. But Ravan is not willing to listen, and the war became imminent. So the war began. A lot of warriors, they fought. Many of them got killed. From Ravana's side, even Meghnad finally was killed by Lakshmana. Ravan wakes up his brother Kumbhakarna. He is also killed in the battlefield. And finally, Ravan himself decides to come to the battlefield and fight with Sri Ram. So Ravan was a very powerful king, and he had his own philosophy of life. See, each one of us, we have our own thinking, which may not be correct, but based on our own thinking and our conviction, we live our life. So Ravan had this philosophy that might is right. That if you are strong, if you are powerful, then that is the most important thing. You can take whatever you like from this world by the power of your strength. And that is what he followed in his life. He just used to take away things which he liked, people's wealth and even women, all other goods. Even he took the Pushpak Viman from his own brother, Kuber, So that was his notion, but that is not proper, that is adharma. And he and his people used to also create a lot of obstacles on the path of those Rishi Munis who were sincerely doing their sadhana, doing tapas. Ravan and his people used to create obstacles in their path. So many adharmic things Ravan was doing. And the worst thing he did finally was to take away Sita ji also through Chala. And he kept her in Lanka, harassed her. This war became imminent. So when Ravan decided to come on the battlefield as a mighty king, he had all the facilities. He had his war chariot driven by expert charioteer, and he had all the weapons which were used during the war. And also he was properly dressed with armor, with all the swords and shields and bows and arrows and axes and all different types of Shaktis, missiles, spears. So well equipped, and that is very important in a battle. So when Ravan approached Ramchandraji in the battlefield, Vibhishan was there along with Sri Ram. He had surrendered to Bhagavan Sri Rama. He had understood that his real connection, real relationship is with Sri Rama only, with Dharma, with Satya. All other relationships are temporary. One should hold on to Dharma. And that is what Vibhishanji understood when he met Hanumanji. He had a brief satsang with Hanumanji, and which gave him clear understanding of what is Dharma, what is Adharma. And he just, he tried to teach, he tried to advise his own brother on the path of Dharma, but Ravan was not ready to listen. In fact, Ravan then got so annoyed with Vibhishan that he just kicked him. And then Vibhishan, he left Ravan. He told him that I am leaving you now. I will go and join Sri Ram. I tried to advise you, but you are not listening to me. So I'm just leaving this place. So he just left Lanka and he surrendered to Sri Ram. He had great affection, great devotion for Sri Ram. So when Ravan came on the battlefield completely armed with sophisticated weapons, and Ramchandraji was in his plain clothes of a tapasvi. That is how he had left Ayodhya. Ramchandraji didn't even have proper shoes. He didn't have any special armor or anything special to be worn by the warrior. And only his weapon was there, which is his Kodanda, Dhanush, and the arrows. Other than that, Bhagavan did not carry anything. In fact, when Sita ji was kidnapped, Bhagavan went in search of her and he collected all people he met. With Hanumanji, he met Sugriv, and he just made his own army there. He didn't contact Ayodhya or request Bharatji to send an army, but Ramchandraji himself from the forest itself, meeting all these people, made his own army of Vanaras, and with that army he marched towards Lanka. So when Vibhishan, he saw this, he could see the contrast. On one side, the mighty Ravan, well equipped with all the weapons and proper chariot. And here Sri Ram was barefoot on the ground, only holding a bow and arrows. So Vibhishan had this deep sense of that love, compassion, and because of that he had that concern that how Sri Ram will be able to fight with this Ravan and how he can win this war, because the conditions are, it seems, totally unequal. So a similar thing happened during the war between Pandavas and Kauravas also. The Pandavas were, they had a small army compared to the Kauravas. In fact, before the war, Duryodhana as well as Yudhishthira contacted people and requested them to fight on their side. So Duryodhana could contact many people, many kings, and they came on their side. And finally, Duryodhana as well as Arjuna together decided separately that we will take help of Bhagavan Krishna also and his large army. So they approached Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He was just lying down. So Duryodhana approached and he sat near his head, and Arjuna approached and sat near his feet, waiting for Bhagavan to open his eyes. So Bhagavan opened his eyes and he saw Arjuna in front. He asked, "Why have you come?" Arjuna said, "I came to request for your help." Duryodhana also was there. He said, "I have come first. I also need your help. You fight with us." So Bhagavan says that I cannot fight on both the sides. In fact, I will not fight, but I can give my army, my large army. So you choose. You can choose me, or you can choose my army. I will not fight even if you choose me, but I will be on your side. So Duryodhana was worried. He thought that if Arjuna chooses the army, then it will be a great loss for me. So he said that I have come first. Please give me the chance to choose. Duryodhana chose the army and Arjuna chose Bhagavan Sri Krishna. He said that if you are with me, if you are on our side, then we don't have to worry about anything. So a worldly person, a materialistic person will say that, oh, we should, it is logical to choose an army. What is the use of having Krishna on one side and he won't be fighting and all? But this is a choice between the divinity and matter, choice between Satya and Asatya. And if we choose Satya, it will be beneficial for us because Satyameva Jayate na Andhratam. Even the whole Mahabharata is to convey this message only. Ki yato dharma tato jayaha. That wherever there is dharma, there alone lies victory. We may not understand this in the immediately, but in the long run, only that which is Satya and that which is Dharma alone wins. Even the very sar of Bhagavad Gita finally was conveyed by Sanjaya that Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdaraha Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutihi Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. That wherever Krishna is there and wherever Arjuna is there, there alone will lie victory. He told Dhritarashtra. So here also Vibhishan was a bit hesitant, he was confused and he did not know what will happen. So out of his love, he had that concern. And he asked Bhagavan that how will you fight this great warrior without proper ratha, proper chariot and without proper armor, shoes and other equipment necessary. So taking this opportunity, because Bhagavan's avatar was meant to protect the good, to destroy the evil and to establish dharma. So Bhagavan took this opportunity to teach Vibhishana the essence of dharma. So we see this beautiful Gitas. One is Bhagavad Gita and this another is this Vibhishana Gita. Both of them were conveyed in the battlefield and both of them give the same message of dharma. Bhagavad Gita begins with the word dharma only and concludes with the word mama, means mama dharma, my dharma. And this Ramayana, Tulsi Ramayana begins with the word varna and concludes with the word manavaha. Tulsi Ramayana or Ramayana gives the dharma of the entire humanity. Bhagavad Gita indicated dharma from an individual standpoint. Bhagavan Sri Krishna taught Arjuna, who was deluded, confused regarding what he has to do there at that moment. So Bhagavan taught him his dharma. But here in Ramayana, Bhagavan Sri Ramachandra through his charitra, he is teaching the entire humanity the human dharma, manav dharma. How human beings should live on earth. Because we have great responsibilities. We have our special equipment, we have special our ability to think and to to utilize our buddhi, so it can be used in a positive way as well as a negative way also. So in Ramayana, Bhagavan teaches us through his life that how a human being should live on earth. What is the complete dharma which he has to follow? See, dharma is meant for everyone's welfare, not only for the welfare of a human being, but for the welfare of animal, birds, plants, and everyone. And that is what we see in Ramayana. Even when Bhagavan wanted to build a bridge across the ocean to go to Lanka, he did tapas there. And he invoked the ocean Devata. And he requested Ocean Devata to give him the way. Means taking the ocean also into confidence and thinking about the welfare of the ocean, Bhagavan built that setu in such a way that the ocean was not polluted, the ocean was not disturbed, the creatures living in the ocean were not disturbed, and the bridge was also made. It is the most beautiful bridge which Bhagavan had made. So everyone should win, everyone should benefit. Even when Bhagavan sent Angad to Ravana as a last resort to prevent this war, Angad asked Ramchandraji that what is our policy? How should I speak to Ravana? So Bhagavan said in one sentence itself, कि काज हमारा तासु हित होई, that our work should be done and his welfare also should be taken care of. Means Ravan should also not lose anything and our work should also be done. We have come here for a specific purpose. If he returns Sita ji with due respect and reverence, then that is all we want. He will also be benefited by that and we will also be benefited. So that is the secret of dharma, that our work should be done and it should not harm anyone. We see this in the life of Ramchandraji when he interacted not only with human beings, but with animals, with birds, with different creatures of the forest, even human beings from various different varnas and different jatis, different genders. He met them with so much of compassion and kindness in his heart. When he met Shabriji, Shabriji was so hesitant. She said that I am a simple woman, I don't know even how to praise you and all. I don't know how to do your worship, but I am not of a high class from some high family. Bhagavan says that I don't look at all these things. I don't see whether you are from a high family, low family, or wealthy or unwealthy or whatever. I don't see all this. That is not important for me. What is important for me is love. Manahu eka bhagati karanata. He says that I accept only the relationship of bhakti, of love. If you have that love, if you have that kindness, and all these things go along with love, friendship, compassion, forgiveness, all the values which the scriptures talk about, they go along with love. So if that is there, Bhagavan says, I relate with you. then I accept you as my devotee. So Ramchandraji took this opportunity to teach Vibhishanji the essence of Dharma in this very beautiful portion. So we will chant that portion and briefly see the meaning of this chaupais. So this is, if you have the book, this is in Lanka Kanda of Tulsi Ramayana, and it begins from the chaupais after Doha number 79. So I will chant these chaupais, few of them, and see the meanings. Ravanu rathi birath raghubira dekhi Vibhishana bhayau adhira adhika priti manabha sandeha bandi charan kah sahit saneha नाथ नरत नहीं तन पद त्राना एहि विधि जित बबीर बलवाना सुनहु सखा कह कृपा निधाना जेहि जय होई सो स्यंदन आना सौरज धीरज तेहि रथ चाका सत्यशील दृढ़ ध्वजा पताका बल विवेक दम परहित घोरे क्षमा कृपा समतार जुजोरे. Tulsidas ji has written this Ramayana in Awadhi Bhasha, a dialect of Hindi, and very beautifully he has written the whole Charitra of Bhagavan using very appropriate words depending on the situation. So here he is describing that Ravana Rathi Biratha Raghuvira. Ravan was in Ratha. So in the battlefield, Ravan was seated on a chariot, a powerful chariot, and with all the equipments, with all the weapons, mighty chariot, and he had come on the battlefield himself. And on this side, Ramchandraji was devoid of any chariot. Biratha Raghubira, he had no chariot. He had just walked all the way to Lanka along with all this Vanara army. And but he was carrying his bow and arrows. So Ravana Rathi Biratha Raghubira Dekhi Vibhishan Bhayavu Adhira. When Vibhishanji saw this, he became very disturbed. He knew about it, but suddenly during the war, the whole situation, the whole contrast came very vividly in front of him. Just as in Bhagavad Gita also, we find that Arjuna knew whom he will be fighting with and all. But when he reached the battlefield and when he requested Bhagavan to take his chariot in between the two armies, and he saw both the sides, he got totally confused and deluded. So here also Vibhishan, when he saw this contrast, that Ramchandra is simple with his dress of a tapasvi, carrying his bow and arrows, without even proper shoes, no armor, and he was standing there facing this Ravan. So adhika priti manabha sandeha. Not that Vibhishan had any doubt about Bhagwan's greatness or divinity, but sometimes when we have that too much of affection, that love, then we also have that certain fear comes in our heart. So adhika priti manabha sandeha, due to his great affection for Bhagwan, his love for Bhagwan, he didn't want Bhagwan to have any harm. So he got this sandeha in his antakkarana. How? What will happen? And bandhi charanakaha sahita saneha. He did namaskar to Sri Ram with complete affection, with love. And he spoke to Bhagwan. He says, Nathana Ratha Nahi Tana Padatrana. That, hey Nath, oh my master, that you don't have a chariot. There is no proper chariot. And Nahi Tana Padatrana, and no protection for your body also. The armor is not there. And in an army, in a fight, in a battle, you don't know from where the arrows will come. So one has to have proper gears to protect ourselves. But here, Bhagwan did not have all this. And not padatrana, and even no protection for his feet. Bare feet, Bhagwan had gone to fight this war. So Vibhishan was concerned. He says, Kehi bidhi jitaba veera balvana. How will you win over this mighty warrior? How can you win over this mighty warrior with nothing with you? So, taking this opportunity, see, Bhagwan had revealed his strength, his power many times. Even Sugriv had doubts when Bhagwan met Sugriva. See, Bhagwan approached Sugriva for help. Bhagwan did not go to Vali. Though Vali was the king, he had snatched away the kingdom from Sugriva. So he had all the power, he had all the army with him. But Bhagwan did not take help of Vali, because Vali was also following the path of adharma. So Bhagwan did not want to take help of any adharmic person. That will be totally against dharma. When we have to even achieve something in this world, not only our goal should be dharmic, but our path also should be dharmic. We cannot have unfair means to attain something which we think is fair. So the means also should be proper. So when Ramchandraji met Shabriji advised Bhagavan Sri Ram that you go and make friendship with Sugriva. You meet Sugriva and he will be able to help you to seek Sita ji. So one good person recognizes another good person also. So Sugriv, though he was running away from his, out of fear of his brother, he had lost his kingdom, but he was a good person. He had all the good virtues with him. So Bhagwan made friendship with Sugriv. Even Hanumanji was with Sugriv. Hanumanji did not take side of Vali, but he remained with Sugriv. Though he was without any power, he was totally frightened and running around, but Hanumanji remained with him. In fact, Sugriv held on to Hanumanji. So Ramchandraji took help of Sugriva but Sugriv also, and he told him that I will kill that wall and give you your kingdom back. But Sugriv had his own doubts that how can Sri Ram kill Vali? Vali is so strong, so powerful. So in order to show his own prowess, Bhagwan hits an arrow on 7 trees. 7 trees were there, very strong, powerful trees were there. And he hits the arrow and it passes through the trunks of all those 7 trees. And Sugriv then understands the strength and power of Sri Ram. Here, Vibhishan also had seen the power of Sri Ram. But he, out of that great love and compassion, he had his own doubts. So he asked Bhagwan that how will you will be able to win this war? How can you fight this great warrior? So Bhagwan, taking this opportunity, he describes the whole thing in a totally different way. This is the outer war which is happening, but simultaneously the inner war is also happening constantly, which we have to fight. We not only have enemies outside, but for a spiritual seeker and for a dharmic person, there are enemies within our own antakarana also. They are called the Shad Ripus, the 6 enemies of the mind. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsar. They are there within our mind, constantly troubling us, giving us sorrow, pain, without any rhyme and reason. And we have to face those enemies of our mind. And ultimately, we have to face the greatest enemy, and that is this samsara itself, in which we are born and we are suffering. And the cause for this whole samsara is moha, delusion, which is caused by avidya. So avidya is the root cause of this samsara. That avidya causes delusion, and that delusion causes a lot of sorrow. So symbolically, Ravan represented that moha, that delusion. So we have to fight our own Ravans. Each one of us, we have to fight our Ravan. And only when we defeat that Ravan, we will be able to attain moksha. And not only Ravan, but in the beginning we have to defeat all other enemies also. Meghanad and Kumbhakarna. Our sleep, our lethargy, our intense desires, attachments, anger, jealousies, pride, vanity. These are all enemies within. And these enemies within only, they come out and create trouble in the world outside. All outer laws and outer restrictions will not be able to bring about that change and transformation in this world. The enemies are there within the hearts of everyone. Unless we destroy these enemies from within, we will not be able to transform this world into a happy place. Like one of the UN secretary had mentioned in his speech, that the wars which are fought in the world, they begin in the mind. And therefore they have to be destroyed in the mind itself. Similarly, the negativities which we see in the world, every place, terrorism, murders, rapes, hunger, all sorts of corruption, lack of food, clothing, shelter for people, poverty, illiteracy, harming others, no safety for women, for children. All these things which we see in this present world, everywhere, in all countries, their basic root is within our antakaran only. The anger which is there within comes out in the form of violence. The sense of incompleteness which is there within comes out in the form of greed and snatching things from other people, cheating them. The lack of joy which is there within, we go out to seek happiness and trouble people. The lack of self-respect gives rise to harming others, insulting them. Fear makes us control people. So all the troubles which we see in the society, it begins, its root, its source is our antakarana. From there it arises. Its source is nowhere else. And if we are able to fight with these enemies, we will be able to make this whole world into a very happy place for everyone. So Sri Ram, the main purpose of Bhagavan's avatar is to teach this dharma, to teach that dharma. Because even Ravan, he did not consider him as a bad person. It's possibility of him also to be good. When Bhagavan tried everything, when it did not work, then only he decided to fight. See, when Vibhishan surrendered to Bhagavan Sri Rama, he just gave him the kingdom of Lanka to Vibhishan. He made him the king of Lanka. The war was not even fought. Ramchandraji made Vibhishan the king of Lanka because he had surrendered with genuine heart. So somebody asked Ramchandraji that what will you do if Ravan comes and surrenders to you, because you have already given the kingdom of Lanka to Vibhishan. And what if Ravan comes with sincere love and devotion and surrenders to you? What will you give him? Bhagavan said, I will give him the kingdom of Ayodhya. I will make him the king of Ayodhya. He will be a good king of Ayodhya if he surrenders to me, because whoever surrenders to Bhagwan becomes totally free of all their impurities, free of all their negativities. It's like Gangaji. Even if you pour ordinary water into Ganga, that ordinary water also becomes pavitra. So the enemies are there inside us. And the greatest enemy is our own ignorance of our own self, which creates all different types of delusion and confusion. So we have to fight these enemies. While living in this world, we have to follow this path which is Bhagwan will be showing us, and fight these enemies which are there within us and around us. And for that we require a chariot, and we require what you call a lot of weapons. So what is that chariot which will help us to fight our enemies? And what are the weapons which are required? That Bhagwan describes in a very beautiful way. He says, he tells his friend Vibhishan, कि सुनहु सखा कह कृपा निधान. Bhagwan, full of compassion, he spoke to Vibhishan, addressing him as his friend. Actually, Bhagwan considers all of us his friend. Suratam, in Gita also Bhagwan said, I am friend of all. So he addressed Vibhishan as his friend. Even Arjuna he addresses as friend. Bhaktosi me sakha cheti. Ki sunahu sakha kah kripa nidhana jehi jaya hoi so syandana ana. He says, that by which we can win victory, we can get our victory, that chariot is totally different. We need a different chariot to win over the enemies of our antakarana. That chariot is totally different. The outer chariot will not help us. The outer wealth, position, name, fame will not be able to help the inner enemies. We may have a lot of wealth, we may have a lot of friends, we may have a lot of power in the world outside. But if some jealousy is there inside, if anger is there in our antakarana, if some sadness is there in our heart, nothing can help us. We see in this world, people have attained fame, name, wealth, position. But they reach such a state in their life, at times, they become so depressed and so dejected that they prefer to even die, they commit suicide. They just cannot tolerate the enemies which are hurting them in their own heart. When it becomes too much, when they cannot tolerate it, they prefer even to die. See, normally we are so attached to our body, to our life, but sometimes these inner enemies can be so cruel and so hurting that some people prefer to even die. But that should not be the case. It is possible to face these enemies and conquer them. Calm, desires, angers, jealousies, hatred, confusions, pride. These are the enemies. Why are they called enemies? Because when they just arise, they give sorrow to us. Without any, what you call, reason. They like to hurt us. And this pain and sadness is there that even we can't even share it with others. Sometimes we have to be just sit alone and weep, crying in the rain. So to fight this enemy, we have to have a proper chariot. And if we have a chariot, then we should have a proper charioteer. And we ourselves, we are the warriors. We have to fight. So dharma makes us a warrior to fight against enemies which are there within our own antakarana. And the more enemies we destroy, the more we become peaceful and happy, and more we become helpful and good for the whole world. Why enlightened person are good? Because they don't have enemies within. Therefore, they don't have any enemies outside also. If you approach Bhagavan Ravana Maharshi, he doesn't have any enemies within. There is no kama, there is no krodha, there is no lobha, there is no moha. Therefore, outside, no one can create any disturbance in his antakarana. In the Gita, 12th chapter, Bhagavan says that a bhakta is one who is not disturbed by the world, and world is not disturbed by him. Because outside is just a reflection. If I am looking into a mirror and if there is some dark spot on my nose, I should not try to rub the mirror, but just remove that spot from my own nose. And a great miracle will happen that even the spot from the reflection also will disappear. When I clean my face, the face in the mirror also gets cleaned automatically. You don't have to do anything. But if you try to clean the face on the mirror itself, it will never be cleaned. Similarly, when I clean my own antakarana, I will make that place around me beautiful. And if each one of us can make a little circle around ourselves beautiful, we can make this whole world a very beautiful place to live. So Bhagavan told Vibhishan that the chariot which is required to fight with these inner enemies is different. I will describe it to you. Not only he described the chariot along with the horses and the charioteer, but he also describes how we should be. What should we have as our protection for our body and for our feet and all, and what weapons we should hold in our hand to fight with these enemies. See, every enemy, they have their own personality, they have their own strategies. The way we have to deal with anger will be different from the way we have to deal with jealousies. The way to deal with sadness is different from the way to deal with pride. Each of them, they have their own personality, their own mechanism. And if we know the right weapon to use against them, we will be able to destroy them. And only when we are able to destroy all these enemies, we will be able to sit peacefully, meditate, and recognize our innermost self. So Bhagavan says, I will describe this chariot to you. Ki jehi jaya hoi so syandana ana. Then he starts the description. He says, first he described the wheels. He says, Sauraj dhiraj tehi rata chaka. He says, this wheels of this chariot, two wheels. Shauraj means shaurya. Shaurya means valor. bravery in face of all difficulties and great in facing all even enemies. That bravery should be there. We'll discuss more about this, but now we will just see the various parts which are described here. Sauraj dhiraj tehi rata chaka. Shaurya, valor, and dhiraj, dhairya. Dhairya means patience, perseverance, fortitude, patience. These are like two wheels. See, wheels make it easier for the chariot to move forward. It avoids all friction. And in war, if we have to fight with these enemies, we have to move. At times, we have to move faster. We have to turn, we have to return. So there's sort of movement is there. In war, if you have seen, the chariots, they move forward slowly at tremendous speed. They have to be stopped, they turn, and all those things. So for that, the wheel should be proper. Similarly, in life, if we have to conquer these enemies, the first thing which we require is valor, bravery. Because fear prevents a lot of people from just taking the first step also. We have imaginary fears that what will happen if I do this. So to overcome that fear, we should have that valor, bravery. Sauraj dhiraj tehi rata chaka, satyashil dhrida dhwaja pataka. And the dhwaja, the flag on the chariot, and the flag post, they are satya in shila. Satya means truthfulness. Shila means good character. Good character. They are the firm flag post and flag. And bala vivek dama parahita ghore. And bala, strength, vivek, wisdom, dama, self-control, parahita, welfare of others, are like horses which pulls the chariot forward, which takes our dharma ratha forward, means takes our life towards our goal. See, dharma is like a vehicle. Here it is described as a chariot. We have seen the importance of chariot in Bhagavad Gita also. Bhagavan himself is the charioteer of Arjuna's chariot, and he is seated in a very important place, guiding Arjuna. Even in our Upanishad, the Kathopanishad describes our whole personality as a chariot. Atmanam ratinam viddhi shariram ratamevatu buddhim tu sarathim viddhin manapragraham evacha indriyani hayanahuhu vishayansteshu gocharam atmendriya manoyuktam bhaktityahur manishinaha. So the whole personality, our body, our mind, our senses, our buddhi is described as a chariot. Buddhi is the sarathi, the charioteer, and I, that individual, this person, is the owner of this chariot. With this chariot, I have to move towards my goal of self-realization, destroying all the obstacles on the way, overcoming all the obstacles on the way. So here Bhagavan is describing this chariot, which should be able to move freely. For that, these wheels are there and these horses are there. One is bala, strength, Vivek is ability to distinguish between what is right, what is not right, what is dharma, what is adharma, what is papa, what is punya, what are our duties, what are not our duties. That ability to distinguish. Then dhamma is self-control, and parahita, welfare of others. Are the horses. Actually, this requires more contemplation, which we will do in our sessions tomorrow. Now, if you have any questions regarding whatever I spoke, you may ask.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Swamiji.
Welcome.
I request the viewers to post your questions in the Q&A box. Swamiji, from morning session, we had one question.
Yes.
You said you will take it in the evening.
Yes.
So we discussed about how the gunas, everyone has the gunas, and that is that, you know, it's given, it is decided by Ishvara. So if that is the case, how can parents influence or impact the children in parenting?
Okay. The question is, if gunas are in our life, our birth is decided by Bhagavan, what is the role of parents? See, according to our own karmas, we are born in a particular family. Means Bhagavan chooses an appropriate family, appropriate parents for us according to our own karma. So as a parent, we can give proper environment for the child. The child is like a seed who has got his own potential to grow into a beautiful plant or beautiful tree. But the child will require proper environment, because even a good seed in a faulty environment cannot produce a good tree. So our job as a parent will be to give a proper environment, a positive, proper environment for the inner potential to come out. Like Pujya Gurudev also has given that thing, that spirituality is to bring out that inner potential, which is already there. So as a parent, we create a good environment at home. First of all, we have to create a good environment in our own personality, because children, they learn through observation. They observe the parents and they learn a lot. More than what they learn from our talk, speech, they learn from our behavior. So the children, they observe their mother, their father, how they behave with each other, how they behave with the other relatives, with the neighbors, with their friends, colleagues. And they imbibe this thing unknowingly, unconsciously within them. So we can be helpful to ourselves and to our children also by rectifying our own life, making it more holistic, proper. Also in the homes, we can create an environment of goodness, of study, of creativity, of evolution, which will help the child to grow in a positive way. So that is all that we can do. Even we can send them to a proper education institute, give them a good environment where they can make friends with good other children, have friendship with animals, birds also, can have some pets and all, make friendship with trees and birds, celebrate the various festivals which are actually meant to develop that rapport with the world. to understand the various phenomena of the world, the awareness of the change in seasons, the awareness of the phenomena which happens in like the eclipse and all. So through all this, the children learn. They get a holistic, all-round understanding of life. They are not just categorized into studying only one limited thing. You only study this science or arts or physics or commerce. They get to understand the life as a whole. So parents can create this environment so that the children can grow in a positive way.
That was very, very well put, Swamiji. Thank you so much for that answer. We have not received any other questions at the moment.
So you have to be prepared with your own questions.
That's
Really?
right.
People are quite satisfied with what they have heard.
Yes, I guess.
No questions.
Yes.
So if you have any questions, you may ask.
No, even I don't have any questions. So we could conclude, Swamiji.
Yeah. We can conclude.
Yes, Swamiji.
Anyone wants to ask my Facebook people? Do you have any questions to ask? So we will chant the remaining portion also of this Vibheeshana Gita.
Sure.
ईश भजनु सारथि सुजाना विरति चर्म संतोष कृपाना दान पर सुबुद्धि शक्ति प्रचंडा बर विज्ञान कठिन को दंडा अमल अचल मन त्रोन समाना समझ मनियम सिली मुख नाना कवच भेद प्रगुर पूजा यही सम विजय उपाय न दूजा सखा धर्ममय असरत जाके जीतन कहन कतहु रिपुता के महा अजय संसार रिपो जीति सकई सो वीर जाके असरथ होई दृढ़ सुनहु सखा मति धीर सुनि प्रभु बचन विभीषण हर्षि गहे पद कंज एहि मिस मोहि उपदेश हो राम कृपा सुख पुंज सियावर रामचंद्र की जय उमापति महादेव की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय हरि ओम. We'll conclude with a prayer and we'll see you all tomorrow morning, afternoon, 12 to 1:30. We will have we will continue with this topic. So tomorrow also we will have 2 sessions, 12 to 1:30, and in the evening 5 to 6:30. So till then you take care, be happy, safe, peaceful, healthy, do your work, do your sadhana, and see you all tomorrow. Hari Om. Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram. 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 Shri Ram Jaya Ram Jaya Jaya Ram, 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 Jaya Jaya Ram, Jaya Jaya Ram, बोले सिया रामचंद्र भगवान की जय। ओम पूर्णमद पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम।